Welcome to Breaking Down Bits, a conversation about great comedy bits with the comedians who wrote and performed them.
Hey, welcome back to Breaking Down Bits. I'm Brian Gendron.
I'm Drew Jordan, and we're excited to be getting into season 3, starting next week. And it's been a crazy year, but it's been really fun to continue these conversations with great comics and just continually trying to get better at comedy, no matter what the world kind of throws at us, right?
That's right. Yeah, we are now into 2021. We're about to kick off season 3. We've had a lot of growth, I think, as individuals, as comics, ourselves, and we've heard a lot of great stories from people like you out there listening who have also grown, and we've got to see it firsthand, Drew, through these online feedback mics we've been doing, right?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't tell you about this, but actually, at a mic on Thursday here in town, a guy came up to me and said, "Hey, I found the Breaking Down Bits podcast, and I heard that you guys were in Houston, and so that's what encouraged me to come out and do my first open mic." So I was like, "Oh, that is incredible!" Like the fact that anything that we can be a part of someone's journey like that. That's rad. Like, thanks for letting us be a part of your comedy writing and your comedy like education, I guess. Like we're flattered to be a part of that.
Sure, yeah, and we've been very honest and upfront about this. We're new comics, we've been in it Drew's been in it for now 2 years. I'm almost on 2 years, and so we're learning right alongside you with these comics. And it's so incredible to hear the stories from across the country. We've had several people come on for the first time and do comedy on our open mic, on the online open mic. So this is great watching everybody grow. And in spite of a pandemic, comedy continues, and I think we'll be stronger as a result.
Yeah, those online open mics are one of my favorite things to do now. We get to interact with people all around the world. Some amazing, great writers are helping us tag up our jokes. We're sharing our perspectives. It's a great time. If you want to get in on that, make sure you're emailing in to breakingdownbits@gmail.com. We do that on Tuesdays at, I guess technically it's 9 Eastern.
9 o'clock Eastern. We are here most Tuesdays. You can email us in, just throw us the date that you want to get on, and we'll try and get you up. And we'll get you up at some point. So usually they fill up pretty fast. Sometimes we have to go out to social media and post it, but for the most part, we get it over email. But email us in, we'll add you to the list, and we'll hope to have you on a future mic. You get 5 minutes, and you get 3 minutes of feedback, and it's been invaluable for my comedy. So
I love it.
Another place you can get to us is breakingdownbits.com. That's, of course, where you can get all the episodes that we've done. We've already done 2 seasons, 20 episodes of great content. And there's also, I've added, Drew, to the page, a place where you can learn more about the open mic and what we do there. So awesome. breakingdownbits.com. Before we get into our season 2 recap, let's talk about a couple of fun things we have coming up, man. So where are we going on January 29th?
Yeah, we're going to finally break out of Houston. And we have a cool partnership. We're going to hop over into Austin, and on the side, kind of on the down low, I'm shooting a new episode of New to Drew in Austin. So we're also going to hop in to a showcase over there. And so if you're in Austin, we'll give you the details. Maybe you can pop in and hear us try to do comedy.
That's right. You'll find us at the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot WTF Ice House in Austin on January 29th. We're looking forward to it. And through it came through a relationship that we got through this show. So, and then just booked yesterday. This is actually really exciting. We'll be in Lafayette, Louisiana at the Worst Beer Garden opening for that sounds fun.
I'm sure it's German, right? That's a German thing. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, it ain't the best beer garden. It's the worst beer garden. And it's a relationship, Drew, that we got through this show. Actually, we're going to talk about the episode a little bit later. We're going to be both opening in front of Ian Lara at the Worst Beer Garden on March 12th. How cool is that?
That's incredible.
Yeah. And then, of course, he'll be doing The Riot, which is my comedy show in Houston, on March 13th. So all this happens through Breaking Down Bits. This has been wonderful for us, and again, wonderful to watch all you grow. But if you're in Lafayette or Austin, come check us out.
Yeah, going to be a fun time. We'll get all those details up, I'm sure, as we get a little closer to the dates. We'd love to see you. Yeah, so you want to hop into this recap of season 2?
Man, let's do it. You know what I'm going to do to kick things off? Let's watch a quick clip with our first interview of season 2.
It is our job to make fun of all these subjects. It's our job. It's what we do. And also, let's break down breaking down bits here. Let's break down the word making fun. Oh, he made fun of black people. Yes, I'm making it fun. That's what I'm doing. That's what this is. Wouldn't it be great if we can make things fun? Like, that's the beauty of being a stand-up comedian. So yeah, I'm going to make fun of 9/11 when I'm in New York and I'm doing comedy in 2005. I'm going to make fun of that. I'm going to make fun of these fascists or the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, that's what's happening in our world. It's our job to make it fun. But you do have to be cautious that if you're going to venture into that territory, then if you're going to war, you come prepared. You got weapons and you've got armor and shit. And I think the same thing with jokes. Like, if you're gonna go into that war zone, make sure that you got the jokes and you've got the right opinion about it.
All right, Jeff Dye, episode 11 with Jeff Dye. He puts it on us as comics to make these things fun, which is really in the writing. You can hit on these sensitive issues, even in the PC era. As long as it's well written, it becomes the subtext of the joke. And like he said, you got armor and you're prepared for it, but it's our job to hit these topics.
Yeah, a lot of fun information in that episode about writing and his writing style. I think we mentioned it several times about him going on airplane mode and just like taking some time away from everything to write every day. And great episode. An incredible guy with a super fun career. He's done some crazy stuff. He was the lead actor in Drunk on a Plane, that country music video, which is insane. So this guy's got a lot of fun stories and a great kickoff to our season 2. If you didn't catch that one, that's one to go back and check for sure.
Yeah, he talked about at one point, Tony Hinchcliffe said that he was, or no, it wasn't Tony Hinchcliffe. It was one of those other dipshits. I can't remember, but he said that he's 80% smiles and 20% jokes. And he's like, you know what? Lean into it. Show them that you're having a good time out there. And there's so many comics that are depressed, and it helps you stand out. I thought that was really relatable to me.
Yeah, I like that because that's more my style as well. Like I just like, I'm a little smiley. I'm an easy laugh. Sometimes you just got to lean into what you are,
Exactly. So check that episode out, episode 11 with Jeff Dye. That was a lot of fun. We can go into episode 12. Let me start with a clip. That cool?
Yeah.
Like, funny faces are such a forgotten thing in stand-up. Like, Cedric the Entertainer, he's insane. He can get he has visual callbacks. Like, he'll do body posture, or he'll hold the mic a certain way.
Yeah.
It's just as effective as a callback as if he was to say anything. So I think that, like, that joke, I was riffing it, and then eventually, like you said, like, the next night you act it out a little bit, and then once you act it out, then you can tag the act out with more verbalization, and then it all just kind of mixes together over the course of a week or a month or a year,
All right, Sam Talent, man, that was a great episode.
Yeah, I would say that's opposite thing from what you might hear from a lot of comics. It's very interesting, and he is a super interesting guy. Actually, I first ran into him at Liquid Laughs in Boise, Idaho. Apparently, every other person knows how great he is. He's got a great book out, a wonderful conversation with him. And just, yeah, he zigs when you think he's going to zag kind of situation. He's an interesting guy.
Got it. Yeah, no, Sam was a great get. He was actually just on WTF with Mark Maron.
Yeah.
And he's just somebody he's just so happy to be getting all this. He wrote the book, of course, Running the Light, which is widely regarded by comics. It's fiction. It's about this guy who's on his comedy journey, and he's just kind of, it's his last, he's lost everything else. It's all he's got is comedy. It's so relatable to a lot of comics, right? And so those books are selling off the shelf. And here he was talking about act outs, and the clip that we watched was actually his audition for Just for Laughs, and he killed. It absolutely killed.
One of the craziest things that I recall from that episode was that he said like he didn't care about completely making up. Like he has a lot of jokes about interactions with his wife. He's like, yeah, I just made it up. Like it's not based in any kind of truth at all, and I'm fine with that, which is the opposite from what a lot of comics think. So I think if you're looking for some outside perspective, some ways to kind of freshen up if you're locked in your ways, maybe this episode's good for you to kind of like break out of your habits.
Absolutely. And the one thing that I've added into my act after talking with Sam was this idea of having a visual callback in my act out. And that's something I've added to one of my best bits, and it works. And so I owe that to Sam. Go ahead and check that episode out. I really, really enjoyed that talk with Sam.
Yeah, it was a great one.
Let's go ahead and cue up our next video, man.
This is why I say never kill your babies. I've heard this so many times. Older comedians giving younger comedians advice. If it doesn't work, you gotta let it go. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. If you think it's funny, I don't care if it bombs for fucking 5 years straight. If you think it's funny, if you believe in your fucking comedy heart that this idea you came up with is funny, save it. Never kill it. Put it somewhere. Always have it ready to go, because you never fucking know. A dog might get elected mayor in Vermont.
Yeah, and that's how he was the whole episode, by the way. So much fun.
So much energy, and I think just a wonderful premise for the whole episode is really based around that fact. Is like, sometimes if you believe you have a bit and it's just not working, a lot of people will tell you to just give up on it. And this is a great reminder, and his story is the example that proves, hang on to those bits. If you really believe they're funny, sometimes if you give it enough time, something will happen in the world, something will happen in your life, all the pieces will align, and you can make that joke work. And that gave me hope for some things that I love that I haven't figured out yet. I go, okay, I'm gonna keep them on the shelf, I'm gonna put them on the cork board over here, and one day maybe they'll come through.
Yeah, I mean, that clip really summarizes it. That sticks in my head almost every time I hit stage is just, hey, that didn't work this time on an open mic. That's all right. Hang on to it. And I've already seen that since recording that with Sean, that some jokes come back around like that. And I've got a bit where I talk about my two kids. I compare them to Republicans and Democrats. Well, I've been able to update that and change that with the as a result of things that happened last week, a political joke. And so, never kill your babies.
Yeah, especially if they're your real children.
Don't kill your real children either. That's right. So go ahead and please go listen to that high energy episode with Sean Patton, episode 13.
Yeah.
Our next talk, Drew, was with Tom Thakkar. Huge fan of Tom. They stopped doing the podcast, the Comedy Central podcast that he was on, which was really too bad. It was I really enjoyed it. And Coach T put that together every week, and they did such a good job. But it doesn't take anything away from Tom, the comic. He's an incredible comic. The clip we watched was him in New Orleans for his Comedy Central. And he talked, to me, what was relatable is he went for like a 10-mile run before his show. And that's something that I do, and it helps me process. And in fact, I did yoga today, but while exercising, I got a tag for one of my good jokes that I'm going to bring on stage tonight.
Yeah, that's how it works. In this season, I think what really came through in a lot of episodes was a very, very, very common writing style is just talking to yourself. And it's not, so many people are put the pen and paper later in the process. And it's not like they go to a coffee shop with a pad and a pen and just try to write jokes. It really is just letting it bounce around in your head. Keep it that's why the shower, you're dedicated to just nothing else. And so if you're running, you're kind of locked out of, you can't look at your phone and all those kind of stuff. So I think that was a kind of a thread that came through this whole season, and we heard different people's perspective on how to create their best material and how it kind of surfaced.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Drew, because he talked about doing it in his car on the way to gigs. And we've heard this from a few other comics, but what a great way. It's been said, and I almost believe I believe it's true, that it's easier to get booked in a city that's not your own. And so, we're in Texas, Houston. We could get booked in Austin or San Antonio or some of these cities that are a couple hours away. That could be great opportunity to do some writing. So, if you're looking to grow as a comic, it also allows you to get into a different market. So, do it professionally, but go approach some other markets, a couple cities over, and take that car time to write.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Very good. So check it out with Tom Takar. Love Tom. We had a great talk with him. Such a fan of comedy, and so that was a really nice episode.
Also, if you see the title of the episode, Graveyard Babies, I'll just tease you with this. It has something to do, Graveyard Babies, with his preparation before he walks on stage. You don't want to miss that one. I'll give you a little teaser, a little reason to go through and listen to that one. Graveyard Baby. It's good.
Don't kill your graveyard babies. Okay. Next episode was really cool because this is kind of almost like a comedic hero of mine. We did a talk with John Caparulo, episode 15. What an incredible comic. I mean, what we looked at was for almost 3 years, he was putting out a new 5 to 7 minutes every month. And then we looked at one of those called Capsules.
Yeah, what a self-starter. He's doing a lot of stuff over there. I think that is really good. We talked a little about it. I think it's a comic book, or cartoons. He's trying to really like expand what he's doing to not just stand up, you know. And I think my favorite response from his when we were said, "Hey, thank you so much for coming on the podcast." He's like, "Yeah, what else am I doing?" Okay. He's such a fun guy, very nice guy. And was just really open and honest about his career, talked about his management situation in that episode a little bit. So you get some business knowledge from him on this one as well. But man, just a fun guy. I'm excited. The next time I'm in Vegas, hopefully everything's open and he'll have his show kind of back up and running trip there.
Yeah, when to get a manager, what to look for in a new manager. I think we called it Pippen is better than Jordan. So yeah. Again, another teaser to find out why Scottie Pippen is better than Michael Jordan and how that impacted John's career.
Yeah.
So let's look at episode 16. Very important episode because we talked about it up top. We're going to be working with this guy here in March, but we had a talk with Ian Lara, a New York City comic, coming up quickly in New York.
Yeah, what a bro. This guy was super amazing. He just really opened up. I'm so surprised, I guess, sometimes that these guys really do open up and share a lot of their inside playbook in these interviews, and it's just so helpful. Stuff that you wouldn't think you could just like ask and get answers on. This guy really shared a lot in this episode, and clearly we made a really fun connection with him. He's been a great and I guess growing as a friend.
Yeah, I mean, just one of the comics that stuck around for like 45 minutes after and just continued to talk about comedy. And remember, off air, we got into who are our favorite comics, and then that got into more conversation. And then eventually led to where he's like, "Hey, man, you want me to ask Mark if he wants to do the show?" And we're just Mark Norman, and we're like, "Absolutely." So just a lot of fun. From the content of the episode, I remember him talking about how patient he was through the process. He started comedy right out of school, and then he did 2 years of open mics. Didn't do any showcases until he felt like he was ready. And then he started the showcases, and then of course he's been able to go on tour and do some pretty amazing things. Comedy Central, The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon, and all that. So.
And the title of the episode, Always Bring It, just another great reminder that even sometimes we have a temptation sometimes if you're on an open mic or a show and it's not really sold out, there's not a lot of people there, you might be tempted to kind of half-ass it and just kind of begrudgingly make it through your set. And he says, and it gives a great reminder there, always bring your absolute best. Always try to kill. You never know who's watching. The other comics in the room who see you half-assing it and not really carrying it, that's not really caring. That's not what you want. Like, if you want to be a comic who's respected by audiences and other comics, always bring your best. And I know it's a dumb temptation that we have when the show's not great or it's very low attended to kind of throw in the towel. But great reminder to just say, bring it 100% of the time, always.
Yeah, well said, Drew. So he's another comic that before I go up on mic, it's an open mic. It's in the back of my head. Just try your best. You came here and be prepared. Do your best, no matter how bad the room is, no matter who you have to follow, whatever the elements are, you're in control of that situation. So please go check out that episode 16 with Ian Lara. He shares quite a bit. He did a lot of talking. It was excellent. I loved all of it.
We didn't have to do anything. He pretty much just ran the episode.
He carried the show. All right. The next one we had was a lot of fun. We got a lot of great feedback from this episode, episode 17 with Jay Sheridan. What first got me off guard with Jay is like he learned stand up in college. I'm like, what? Where was this when I was in school? Who told me I missed this major?
Yeah, he actually had classes that he attended. That's incredible.
He got graded on comedy. Yeah.
That's incredible. I wish I would have had that. I also wish I would have started about a decade earlier, but hey, you just got to go with what you got. But such a fun guy, just a sharp writer. I loved one of the things that I really connected with him on was the ordering of jokes and how to preserve some surprise. So on the clip that we hear, he uses an opener because it was a very, very short set that he never actually uses in his regular sets because it gives away too much. So it's some strategy in how he orders his set and how he chooses what jokes to do. So if you have one joke that gives away 3 punchlines, he would say, cut that joke. And then you get the 3 individual punchlines and surprises. And I really appreciated that because that's something I struggle with in my set. So if you are trying to figure out your order, how to keep creating surprise as you reveal your character on stage, this is a great episode for you.
Yeah, and the episode's called Autonomy and Anonymity, and just the anonymity piece is like your unknown is actually can be an advantage to you. You can show up and just like shock people with how good you are, how prepared you are, and so that can be something that actually helps you. Where it's really looked at as a downside. Maybe you don't have any credits or anything. No, use that to your advantage and really go out and bring it. So check out that episode 17 with our friend Jay Jordan. I'm gonna tee up the next one with the video.
Repetition and cadence is also good for comedy because comedy is mathematical and math is music. And when you hit certain beats, the audience is going to laugh even if they don't want to.
Yeah. I feel like that was just that. Do we just do a bit of Schoolhouse Rock just then?
Put a beat on that.
Oh gosh, she was super fun. Great conversation. And that is a fun point. Sometimes it's not even about what you say, it's how you say it and the rhythm and the cadence. And I think sometimes, especially white guy stand still, say jokes into the mic comics, which there are a lot of us out there. We forget how you say it is so important. That rhythm and that cadence can bring so much and actually just like be a joke almost on its own, no matter what you're saying.
Yeah, the best bit that I have, it's called Creamy Fish Hook, and it's I have the beats down. Like there's a rhythm to that joke. Hold on, I got my son here. He's gonna come up and say hello.
Does he have a tip?
Yeah, you want to talk comedy with us? This is a callback to the Sarah Tiana episode where she had her son on the show. But no, I just have the beats down and the rhythm down, and I can do it, with blindfolded, with my hands tied behind my back, because I just know the rhythm of that joke. I know where the laughs are, and so once you have a bit, what that was encouraging is, you got to go out and get the reps and keep doing the same joke, no matter how much you feel like you're tormenting the other comics you see day in and day out at these mics. You got to keep working those bits. I mean, like you talk to the pros, they do them 100 times. You got to do it. You got to put the time in on the same jokes.
And maybe you have a joke that's not really working. Maybe adding a little cadence. What's up, buddy? Adding a little cadence, adding a little rhythm to it can totally bring new life to the joke. So if a joke's not working, we talked about hanging on to ones you love. Maybe this is an option, something that just another tool in the tool bag. You can go, okay, it's not working the way I'm delivering it now. What if I put a little rhythm into it and made it something almost like a rhythmic callback or something like that? It's a fun way to kind of breathe life into old jokes.
Absolutely. So don't kill your graveyard babies. The theme of the show.
We're making one long sentence that just combines all the advice from season 2.
That's right. So check out that episode with Joyelle Nicole Johnson, episode 18. Episode 19, we sat down with Christina Catherine Martinez. How fun.
Oh, man. Really brought, much like Sam Talent, brings a very different perspective on comedy. One of the things that really stood out to me was she's extremely educated. She is like an art, she was an art critic. So you can imagine how well read she is, how intelligent she is. And she leans into the art of clowning, which in essence removes all the ego and all the intelligence from her, from her daily life, and forces her to be funny in a different way. And man, what a great conversation. I loved this one personally. I love her style. Just a very different conversation for us, but really valuable if you're trying to, one, if you're interested in clowning at all, and two, if you're just looking for something fresh and different to kind of give you some thoughts that you might not hear from typical stand-up comics.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at my act, looking at the idea of taking away your strength, your best strength, and then still finding a way to be funny, which is the exercise she went through when she was doing her clown training. That was really great things to think about. And what can I do a lot of act outs with some of my best bits. What if I just stayed still and really tried to use my voice and use the writing to make people laugh? That's a scary thought, but that's where some growth can live, right? So
yeah, she dove into that in her class because her teacher forced her to not speak, and she had to be funny non-verbally, which was the opposite of what her skill set would be, because she's super intelligent and sharp.
That's right. Another thing, we talked about moon sickness. I've said that so many times to my wife since that episode. So just another, kind of to me, like the female Sean Patton, just so much fun to talk to. She had some great, just a fun episode. So
silly words. That's another great tip. If there's a way that you can interchange a silly word for a boring word.
Oh, and one more quick one, that we didn't watch her stand up. We watched a clip that she created. It was a fake commercial, and the way it was a great lesson, because everybody's talking about how do you put content out online, especially because a lot of us can't do stand up with the pandemic. And she forced herself to create these videos because she had a show, and then she would have these commercials as intermissions. Yeah. So that was her way of making herself do this thing that she really didn't care to do, or whatever our excuses are not to put this content together. That was her way of doing that, and it came out fantastic.
Yeah, what a great, just being inventive, just keeping it fun, doing a live in-person commercial or showing that in the middle of a show. She's just a fun, inventive person, and if you're looking for some creative spark, this is a great episode for you.
Christina Catherine Martinez, episode 19, and then we wrapped with our season finale. Let me do a quick video.
I do a lot of writing in hotel rooms because you can get some real freedom, and you're on the road. I feel like it gets the juices jizzing. I like to walk and talk. I pace it out. I walk around the hotel and say, so Uber's weird. I'll tell you that. I do. It's really embarrassing. And, here's this is what I did last night. And I'm trying to work on this whole bit about how women wear heels, but they're the ones who like tall men. So shouldn't we be wearing the heels? Blah, 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 blah. And I just say that, and I talk it out in my hotel room over and over into a hairbrush like a psycho. And then some funny line will come, and I'll write that funny line down.
Get the juices jizzing. Yeah, that was, of course, Mark Norman, or Queef, if you're watching the video. What a great interview.
Yeah, he really pulled back. As he does. If you follow Mark Norman, we're not telling you anything you haven't heard before. This guy is very open about his process. He shares with us his writing style and really gets into the nitty-gritty on it, a little bit about his history and his style of comedy. And man, it's just, the clip that we use is also great. You get to hear some of his philosophy on comedy writing, where he kind of pushes the boundaries, but always tries to keep it fun. He's one of these guys that's just punchline heavy. His last special, I think, has double the punchlines of most 45 or hour long specials for sure. And also the highlight of the episode.
Yeah, he takes a shit on our show.
Yeah, literally. He is on the toilet and takes care of some much needed business while on the episode with us. You only really get the full impact of that if you watch the YouTube version. Heads up. So that was the season finale. The amazing.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, go check out that interview with Mark. I think we explored some different areas that, we tried to go some different directions than a lot. He does a lot of these interviews, right? And we've tried to be a little bit different. So I think you'll find some of that in here because we did put the work in to do that. So check out that interview with Mark. And you get all these interviews on breakingdownbits.com. And of course, we're on the iTunes and Google, and you ask Alexa, and find us on YouTube and iHeartRadio, Drew. I mean, Pandora, damn it, wherever you get them, we're there.
Also, good point to remember. We had an issue about with our server kind of was putting the episodes up, and it was hiding some of the episodes. So if you checked out and you only saw season 2 on there, don't forget there's a whole first season. There's 20 full episodes, or 20, I guess, with our recap, maybe like 21 full episodes there. So if you checked in and you only saw 10, know that we found a way to make sure those are all visible now, so you can go back and see the full library. And maybe there's some guys in that first season you didn't see previously. They're great, wonderful, great episodes on that first season as well, as we were just kind of figuring out this thing.
Yeah. So go back and check out season 1, 2, please. So many great ones, starting with Andy Huggins, Scott Dickers, our friend Joel Byers, John Reep. There's Sarah Tiana for roasting, if you're doing anything around roast. There's so much great stuff in there. And actually, I want to call out one of our interviews, Sarah Tolomash. She has a podcast with our first guest of season 3. So we're going to be talking with Adrian Iapolucci. That's going to be next week, which is, what are we doing? January 22nd. We do them at noon Eastern. Of course, it'll be released on January 23rd, the day after, on Saturday. She's got an album that either just came out or it's about to. It's called Baby Skeletons. Drew, I got a quick clip I'm going to play from her latest album with Adrian.
I think the hardest part about getting away with murder is not being able to brag about it to your friends. Right? You're at a party, your friend's going on about his promotion, and you're like, I'm doing stuff too. I saw a commercial for a kid that's been missing since 1982. Yeah, you just want to tell these parents, give up. He's old enough to have his own missing kids. Do you think there's like a 35-year-old guy out there just walking around Disneyland lost? No, your kid is dead. Come on, but does everyone in here have a missing child? Maybe you shouldn't be at a comedy show.
Drew, don't kill your damn graveyard babies.
She's definitely got that Tolomash energy. I could see how they're like kindred souls. They both have a similar style.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the dark humor that I just love. So that's a great example of it. And she was on The Degenerates on Netflix, and of course, of course, you'll see on the season 2, and then you'll see her at the Comedy Cellar there. So she's a cellar comic, and just so excited to pick her brain because she's got my genre. I love that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. So that's episode 1 of season 3 coming next Friday. Excited to get into this season 3, man. We're still rolling. Hey, shoot us if you have some suggestions about who we should be reaching out to for season 3. We still have some slots open, so feel free to suggest some comics as we book out the season. And don't forget to pop in and be a part of those comedy online open mics we do on most Tuesdays. We'd love to have you in there. Whether you are a brand new comic or a seasoned vet, we have all types at all skill levels, and I think it's beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, so if you want to take part of those mics, just send us an email, breakingdownbits@gmail.com. Also, follow us, tag us on social media. We've had a lot of, if we're helping you grow in any way, share it on social media. Share it with a friend for real. If you send us your address, Drew will personally come and deliver stickers to you. We have these Breaking Down Bits stickers you can hand out at open mics. But just so happy that everybody, all the feedback we've gotten, some of the shows. We get to work with some people now that we've met through the show in live comedy, and just excited to see where else this can go in season 3.
Yeah, if you send $5 with that address, I'll also come slathered in glitter and
That's it. Well, look, guys, this is Breaking Down Bits. We are looking forward to seeing everybody in season 3. Y'all get out there, keep writing, and we'll see you guys in a week. See you, Drew.
Later.
Thanks for listening to Breaking Down Bits. You can keep in touch or get more when you follow @BreakingDownBits on social media, visit the website breakingdownbits.com, or shoot us an email at breakingdownbits@gmail.com.